In recent days, Russian forces have intensified their attempts to break through to Pokrovsk, using light vehicles to push into the city's southern outskirts. The 7th Corps of the Ukrainian Airborne Assault Forces reported this on Telegram. According to the statement, Russian troops took advantage of unfavorable weather conditions, particularly dense fog, which made it difficult for Ukrainian aerial reconnaissance to operate in complicate engagements in open terrain. At present, more than 300 Russian soldiers are positioned inside Pokrovsk. Their objective remains to advance toward the northern part of the city and attempt to encircle the wider urban area. Despite the difficult environment, Ukrainian Defence Forces continue to detect and eliminate Russian groups operating within the city. Under these conditions, officials say that the Russian troops inside Pokrovsk will either be destroyed or forced to surrender. Since early November, Ukrainian defenders have eliminated 162 Russian soldiers in Pokrovsk and wounded another 39. Units involved in the city's defense include elements of the Ukrainian Army, Assault and Airborne Assault Forces, the Special Operations Forces, the Security Service of Ukraine, the National Guard, the National Police, and other components of the defense forces. Russian occupiers continue attempts to cut off Ukrainian supply lines in the Pokrovsk direction. Ukrainian forces have demonstrated that they can counter Russian tactics effectively. According to the 7th Airborne Assault Corps, defenders identified one of the enemy's logistics routes and remotely mined it. They later destroyed a Russian ground logistics hub near the village of Shevchenko, about 5 kilometers south of Pokrovsk. Ukrainian officials note that because the area around Pokrovsk has become a deadly zone, Russian troops face serious logistical challenges of their own. As a result, they are increasingly turning to ground-based robotic systems to support their operations. Even before Russian forces gained a numerical advantage in Pokrovsk, the city had already been devastated, with bodies lying in the streets. The intensity of the fighting demonstrates that the Kremlin's aim goes beyond capturing Donbass. It seeks to reassert Russia's dominance in Ukraine and revive Moscow's status as a great power, according to a report in the Wall Street Journal. Despite U.S. President Donald Trump's calls for both sides to stop the killing and his attempts to propose a territorial compromise, the White House peace initiative has stalled. Analysts point out that Putin is not negotiating over territory, but is instead pursuing historical and symbolic goals tied to the restoration of an imperial vision. As former U.S. Ambassador and RAND senior fellow William Courtney noted, Trump is attempting to resolve a conflict, while Putin is looking to figures like Peter the Great, Ivan the Terrible, and Catherine the Great for guidance. Putin has long framed Ukrainians and Russians as one people, repeating this argument on the eve of the full-scale invasion and in earlier essays asserting that Ukraine itself was a creation of Lenin.